Hey everyone, Eva Thompson here. Welcome back to another video, or if you're listening to this on Spotify or on Apple Podcast, then thank you for tuning in. Today I want to address a comment about retroactive jealousy and a question surrounding being friends or knowing each other before you guys get together. So the comment reads, can you explain about an experience they had while you two knew each other? Not cheating or having committed to a relationship yet, but for example, my girlfriend had an experience with someone while we knew each other. This person goes on to say that it feels like someone has been chosen over them because they both existed at the same time. And I do see this quite often when it comes to retroactive jealousy. I think in most cases, the RJ sufferer will have an issue with their partner's past before the partner even knew them. But there are cases out there where maybe you knew your partner before you got together. Maybe you were friends. Maybe you knew of each other. Maybe you met and things didn't work out straight away. And the first thing I want to point out here is I think the media has a massive role to play. Firstly, because of our expectations around what the beginning of a relationship should look like. So if you grew up watching Disney with the whole prince and princess scenario where they meet each other, they know they're the one, and it works out perfectly, everything falls into place straight away, and they go off running into the sunset together and they live happily ever after. That is something that we see a lot, or we used to see as kids at least growing up. And that's fine. That's the reality for some people. For some people, they meet each other, they're not seeing anybody else, they're not talking to anybody else, they fall in love straight away, and they live a long life together, which is fine. That's great. However, based on my experience and based on talking to people that are in a relationship for 4 years of me doing this, I have found that this is not the case for many people. And this is where the media comes into it again, because I think with Instagram and with TikTok and with dating apps and with ghosting people and trust issues and texting and not seeing each other in person, it's just created a very different world when it comes to dating. And dating is what leads to the beginning of a relationship. So the first thing I want you to know is that you are not alone. For many people, they meet each other and maybe things are complicated. Maybe things don't fall into place straight away. Maybe they don't trust each other straight away. Maybe they still are healing from a past relationship. Maybe they were talking to somebody else before you. Maybe it's not the right time yet and it doesn't work out straight away. And I think what is more painful here is the expectation around what we think it should look like versus what it actually does. Because for many people, it can turn into something beautiful that lasts for a long time, but it doesn't necessarily start out that way. For some people it does, for other people it doesn't. So if it has worked out for you and you are happy and you do want to be with your partner, work on dropping that expectation of how you think something should be or should look like, and embrace where you are today with them. And be aware of how it's likely that the reason you feel this way in the first place is because of the messages that were fed to you when you were younger about what the beginning of a relationship should look like, in the West at least. Because in the West, social media very much is intertwined in dating and how people go about meeting each other today. If you meet on a dating app and you get to know each other, you're not likely to trust a stranger straight away, and that's okay. You're likely to be talking to other people as well. That's just how it works nowadays. You can argue about whether or not it's right or wrong. That's a different video, that's a different case scenario. But I just want to bring awareness to this subject regarding the retroactive jealousy and being friends before not feeling chosen. You're not alone, and the media probably has a massive effect on how you feel about things. The second thing to point out here, and it sounds obvious when you say it out loud, but sometimes the RJ sufferer can get stuck here. The way that you and your partner feel about each other today is not how you used to feel about each other back then when they were seeing other people, in most cases. When you struggle with RJ, you have difficulty differentiating the present from the past. If you are together today and you are committed and you love each other and have strong feelings towards each other, that's great. But it's likely that in the beginning, when you first met and were friends or knew each other, you guys did not have any idea that this is what it's going to turn out to be, that you're going to end up being in a committed, loving relationship where you see a future together. How are you to know that? How are they to know that? Or maybe you knew that, but they didn't yet, and they had to go and experience some things and live their life in order to figure out that this is what they want. So remember, most of the time, people will experience RJ, and somewhere in them, they struggle to differentiate between how they used to feel and how they feel today. They feel like their partner, while loving them, while being committed to them, while having promised a future to them and with them, have now gone and they're talking to other people. That's not the case. How are you to know, how are they to know that you would end up in a loving, committed relationship? And then the third thing I want to point out that is again quite obvious, but you made the decision to be with them after knowing what happened and what they may have done while knowing you. That decision is on you. Again, maybe there's cases out there where you didn't know and you found out later when in a relationship with them. That's difficult, and if you really can't accept it, if they lied to you, if they hid it from you and you want to break up with them, that's again a different video. But for the people that knew what their partner did, or maybe they decided that they didn't care, they didn't want to know, and then they decided to ask later on and they figured out that, oh well, okay, they had something with somebody else while we were talking. Again, that's on you. If you knew that they were talking to other people while knowing you, or if you decided not to ask them in the beginning of your relationship, or if you didn't make it clear straight away that I want a committed relationship, I don't want us to be talking to anybody else, I want us to be together and everything, then again, you can't hold it against them because it is your choice. Either having known it or having made the choice of not wanting to know it, or not telling them straight away that you want to be with them and this is what it's going to look like and this is what you want. So to sum this video up, remember, the fairy tales that we watched when we were younger can really affect how we expect relationships to be. Dating apps and social media have affected the dating world today, and many people don't end up meeting each other, committing to each other, and entering a long-term relationship straight away. That doesn't mean that it can't still be a beautiful, loving relationship that lasts a lifetime. Number two, you didn't know how things were going to play out, and neither did your partner. Neither of you knew that it's going to turn into a loving, committed relationship. How are you to know? How are they to know? And number three, if you were somebody that knew what they did or didn't want to know what they did and made that choice of not asking, or didn't make their needs clear in the beginning when they first met their partner, and that resulted in their partner talking to other people, maybe seeing other people, dating other people, whatever, then that is not their fault. That is something that you need to take responsibility for and decide what you want to do going forward. So guys, I hope this video helped you. Let me know in the comment section below what you think. What's your opinion? Do you agree? Do you disagree? What is your situation? What helped you if you were struggling with this at some point and now you're not anymore? And I will see you in the next video. Take care, and I'll see you soon.